Meghan, spare Harry. Proof showed Duke stifled by ridiculous rules left him cornered and unhappy. Since losing their much-loved Queen and matriarch, and it's clear Harry has felt the loss keenly, with the prince looking extremely emotional, but the situation in England is still weighing heavily on Harry, who's told friends he's anxious over his forthcoming book, and whether it could spell a potentially more permanent estrangement. The couple quietly left England for their $14 million home in Montecito one day after the funeral. Insiders say that naturally they missed their children, but add that Harry was hoping to spend a couple of more days with his family. And while Meghan is struggling to forgive and forget, we're told Harry hasn't given up on a reconciliation just yet. He intends to come back to the UK before Christmas, most likely alone. He wants to sit down with the king and his brother and call a truce. He's hopeful that his father will compromise so he and Meghan can still be part of the royal family while doing their own thing in the US. There is a part of me that thinks Meghan did Harry the greatest kindness anyone could do to him, which was to take him out of the royal family, because he was just desperately unhappy in the last couple of years in his working life. We knew he was unhappy, but we didn't really know what the solution would be. She came along and found the solution. Mr. Lowe has previously alleged in the book that Meghan's treatment of staff left them, on occasion, shaken with fear. However, he also says in the book that Meghan and Harry felt cornered by the ridiculous rules over what they could and couldn't do and the palace's inflexibility. Another source criticised the palace's handling of the crisis as incompetent beyond belief. It just required the decision makers to sit around a table and say, okay, what are we going to do about this? What do you need to feel better? And what can we give you? In Meghan and the household, you had two worlds that had no experience of each other, had no way to relate to each other, had no way to comprehend each other, and Meghan was never going to fit in that model, and that model was never going to tolerate the Meghan and who Meghan wanted to be. Lowe also adds, however, that in the early days of the exit negotiations, a serious effort was made to find a solution, with 5 different scenarios being wargamed, which ranged from Harry and Meghan spending most of their time being working members of the royal family, but having a month a year to do their own thing, to them spending most of their time privately but doing a select number of royal activities. Lowe says that at one point then Prince Charles's private secretary, Clive Alderton, made the point that if they could get this right, they'd be solving a problem for future generations of the royal family, who were not in the direct line of succession. Ultimately, however, it was Queen Elizabeth who declared that royal rules around individuals earning money and being apolitical had to be sacrosanct, and that if Harry and Meghan wanted to make money or dip their toes into American politics, they could not be allowed to carry out official duties. The notion of compromise, Lowe says, was ultimately removed by the Queen. It's not just this book that King Charles has to worry about. As part of Meghan and Harry's $100 million deal with Netflix and $25 million arrangement with Spotify, there are TV shows, documentaries, and yet more podcasts in the works. Time will tell if Charles is open to it and if Meghan is willing to try, but Harry is hopeful he can repair these broken relationships and heal the wounds of the past.